Today's episode is brought to you by Speculative Fiction Collectibles, also known as Spec Fiction Collectibles. You can find them on Facebook or check out their website and see all their pre-orders and everything they have in stock. I'll include a link in the description below. Their customer service is amazing, and I've really enjoyed using this company for ordering my statues. What's up, guys? So the first thing we're going to do is get the frames constructed of the shelves. We have two spots right here in front of these giant windows in the studio that they're going to go in. So we're going to have one right here on this right window, one right here on this left window. So let's go ahead and get started getting the frames together, and then we'll go from there.
A few minutes later.
Okay, guys, so we went ahead and got the shelf assembled. Just follow the instructions in the box. It's really, really easy to do, but you're definitely going to want to have a second set of hands to help, just so when you're tapping and securing everything in, all the other metal doesn't go flying or whatever. This is a 5-shelf system, but I am only making it 3 shelves. So just like the previous video before, I took the extra wood from the other shelves and doubled it up here and here. That's a single board down there, so if something happens to that, you're basically on the floor anyway. It's not that big of a deal. So I wanted the maximum capacity of height in each shelf. So we really just put the bottom shelf, the one shelf that connects everything, and then the top one. And that's really it. So the next thing we're gonna do is add the fabric on the back and on the sides. And from there, we'll get that done, get it all secure, and then we'll go on to the next step after that. Okay, guys, so we are using a curtain. I'm gonna put in the description below the exact curtain size I got, but I found a 36-inch wide curtain. It's 84 inches long. This is only 70 inches tall, but it is 36 inches wide, so we don't have to trim it at all. It's actually just gonna go just like this. And then the excess at the bottom, I'm just gonna trim with scissors, and you're not gonna see it at all. So what I'm gonna do now is put a tiny little hole in this corner and a tiny little hole in this corner, and then you have an extra little hole here from where the shelf clicks into the frame, and I'm gonna zip tie it and zip tie it using these very tiny black zip ties. We're gonna trim it, hide everything in the back, and it's just gonna fall down. Now, what I'm gonna do after that is every 6 inches or so, put a little zip tie, and that's gonna secure the back. But it's also gonna give us an opening to run the power for the lights right out here on the side. It's gonna make a lot of sense whenever we get to that part, but right now, let's go ahead and tack this up on the back. Okay guys, so about halfway through the shelf, I'm gonna go ahead and poke a hole. See, we went ahead and zip tied this up here. And I did have a bit of excess here on the top and nowhere to tack it in, so I just lifted the boards and I just slid the excess under there, and that's giving it a nice tight tension and not giving it any sag. But what we're gonna do here is, right here in the middle, I'm just gonna poke a little hole with my scissors, very small, and I'm gonna go and zip tie it right into this hole here, like that. And that's gonna tack it, and then I'm gonna do it all the way down, and we're gonna pull the tension and make sure the fabric's nice and tight. Okay. So you see here, and you see our hole, you wanna come right up to the edge. If you're gonna use all of these same sizes, this is how you wanna do this so you have a really clean edge. You wanna come in through here, come in through this backside, through the hole. And when you tighten it, it makes a really nice clean edge, just like that. That's exactly what we're looking for. So if you follow it through this hole, through that one, you'll get this really nice clean edge. Just follow that really closely. And again, make sure this is on the outside because you're not gonna see that. Okay guys, so we went ahead and zip tied the back here. I really didn't do much since our last update. I really just tacked in a zip tie here, here. So I did one at the top, the middle, right here in the joint, middle, and at the bottom. Now you can see we have little gaps here between, which is kind of what you want, because when we put our lighting in there, we're gonna run the wires from lighting right out of here, and then add one more zip tie to make it tight, and it'll hold the wires up actually. So far we've just assembled the shelf, put the boards in, zip tied the fabric on the back, and that's it so far. So You notice down here at the bottom I have an excess. So now that this is all laid on here and trimmed out, I'm just gonna cut right along the bottom and it's the perfect size after that. That's all we have to do. The next step, we'll go into the acrylic and into the lighting, and then we're pretty much done after that. Okay guys, we're gonna take our second set of blackout curtains. These are a slightly different size. They are, I think, 30 inches wide by 84 inches long. So what we're gonna do is make these our sides. So what I'm gonna do is tack the front here like this all the way down, and then trim off the excess and trim off the bottom, and then come through and tack in with more zip ties here. And we're gonna create 2 side panels on each side, and then we'll be totally done with the fabric after that. Okay guys, so what we did was we repeated the steps for the back on the sides here. I'll put the link of the size of the blackout curtains I used for the side panels. So I basically just ran this edge down and zip tied all the way down, hold it tight, zip tied the back, and then just trim the excess off the bottom and on the back. And it made this perfect side panel here. So the next thing we're gonna do is get into the lights. We're gonna go ahead and put the lights in while we have access to it, and then after that, it's gonna be the acrylic. Okay guys, so we just installed the lights. I'm gonna go over exactly what I did just to make sure it's super clear. So the light bar is right here. Now what I did was I put Velcro on the back side of the light, stuck it there, and while the Velcro was on the light, I peeled the sticky part off the other side and just went ahead and pressed it into here. And now you can just pull this off and it's Velcroed. So the sticky side is on here, the other sticky side is on the light, and it's keeping it in there nice and strong. The reason why I use Velcro and don't commit to like double-sided tape is because if I ever need to take this down or move to another building, I can just un-Velcro this and reassemble it and Velcro it right back, and you can rebuild this thing as many times as you want or need to. So the light is Velcroed here because I found the light going this way just looks better on the statues in general instead of facing straight down. But your room, your lighting, all that's going to differentiate, so you do it to your taste and what you like, what kind of lights you like on your statues. So the wire comes over here, it comes through on the side, and right outside of this back end, I used the zip tie and tightened it just to keep it nice and to have the wire hug the frame. And then I just took a really small 1" by 1" piece of Velcro and stuck it on the back of the switch here, which just keeps it up and kind of out the way. If you want to use the switch, you can still have access to it. I'm gonna leave mine on and then use a smart outlet so I can just say, hey, Alexa, turn on all my shit, and it will happen. So now, if you want to clean this white cord up, you can use some of the black electrical tape that we're going to get to cover around the plexiglass, or you can just kind of brush paint it black, or you can just leave it white, whatever. You don't really see it unless you get down and look up, but I'll probably end up cleaning mine up a little bit. We did the same thing down here. So exact same system. We Velcroed the light, ran the cord to the side, used the zip tie to make sure it stays nice and tight, and then both cords come out and go right into this one unified plug, which goes over there to an outlet. Ideally, your case would be right in front of an outlet and you can just plug it directly in, but my outlet's way over there, but these have to go here. So I just use an extension cord, it goes over there. It's as simple as that. We're gonna clean it all up at the end, but that's how we installed the lights, and that's also how you can remove them from moving. Okay guys, time for the acrylic. Now I know this is the part that gives a lot of people anxiety, but the way we're doing this with this certain size, we don't have to do any cutting at all. You don't have to trim this. This is 1/8 inch thick, but it's 36 inch wide by 72 inches tall, which is the exact same dimensions as this particular shelf. So what you're gonna do is keeping the plastic on, you wanna keep the film on both sides on until the very last minute, just to keep it nice and clean. But just come over here and line it up and make sure it fits perfectly. As you can see, it goes right up edge to edge, which is perfect. So what we're gonna do is take our 1-inch Velcro strip and we're gonna put the softer version, I guess the vel, and then the crow's gonna go on the other side. I don't know how else to describe it, but so we're gonna run the trim on one side on the frame of the case, and then we're gonna lay this down and run the other side right to the edge, and whenever we go and align it, it's gonna line right up and it's gonna be easy as possible. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay guys, so for the Velcro, this is how we're gonna do it. As you can see, I went ahead and put the rough side of the Velcro all the way around the edge, just like this. So I started here in the middle, and I went from this bracket to this bracket, all the way down to the bottom, and I'm gonna take this soft part like this, and I'm gonna go stick all 4 pieces on the glass over there because the glass fits this frame perfectly, and I went right up to the edge. We're gonna put this on the edge of the glass. It's gonna line up perfectly, and you'll see how we do that. Okay guys, so we got the acrylic right here on a flat bed. I went ahead and pulled the film off. So this is, this side doesn't have film, but this side still does, so I can handle it. I went ahead and just ran the edge of the Velcro all the way around. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do this top part. I'm gonna show you how I do it. If you lay it down and it gets crooked, it's okay. With a 1-inch Velcro like this, you can actually pull it up and lay it back down. It'll be fine. You don't wanna do it a million times, but it will be just fine. So what I do is I start it just like this. I go right up to the edge. So you're gonna go to the edge of the Velcro and the edge of the glass. Pull you some slack like that. I pull it nice and tight to keep a straight edge. And just, if you put it here on that edge, it should level out. If it gets weird, back it off and redo it. And that's it. So now we're gonna pick it up and we're gonna go place it on the cabinet over here. All right guys, so we got our acrylic. The film is still on this side. We have the Velcro on this side, and we're just gonna line it up. Once it touches, it's sticky. Now what I do is, if it's starting to kick over, you can literally just push it to the left and it'll line up. The Velcro allows it to move a bit, which is really nice. Okay, so the fun part, we're gonna go ahead and peel this final edge of film off. So now the very last thing we're going to do is pull the glass back off. I'm gonna put some gloves on so I don't get my fingerprints all over it. I'm gonna pull the glass back off, and then I'm going to lay the vinyl tape all the way around, and we're gonna cover this edge right here. So let's get into that. Okay guys, this is the tape we're gonna use. You get this at Home Depot. It's 1.5 inches wide. It's twice as wide as your normal electrical tape. It's just black vinyl on a giant roll. This is awesome. So instead of me putting the tape on like this and trying to make it perfect over my head, I actually just pulled the acrylic off and I set it right here on this table. This is the other sheet, but you can see the Velcro we added. So now that it's flat, I can actually come in and just line the tape along, run it right along the edge, all the way across, and then we're gonna stick it right back on there. So let's go ahead and do that.